has critical thinking got to do with achieving results in all 8 key results areas in your life? When I say the 8 key results area in your life, I'm talking about what I have referenced to as the 8 pillars of life in previous videos, and I will continue to refer it as such. Okay, so the 8 pillars of life are essentially the 8 key result areas of your life, and if you want to achieve optimal results, the best possible results for you in each of those 8 key areas, you have to develop your critical thinking. One of the things that you have to develop, is not the only thing, but it's one of those things that you absolutely must develop, right? So this is one of the sub-dimensions in the 5 dimensions of personal development, specifically under the dimension of intellectual development. So we have addressed all of these in previous videos, meaning the broad theoretical framework. Okay, so you can go and review those videos if you wanted to get a grasp of that information again, or the grasp of those concepts again. But today, let's go back to critical thinking. Now, critical thinking is not so easy to learn or to teach. Even to get a clear idea of what is the scope of critical thinking is not easy. Suffice to say, I'm still learning, I'm still exploring. So one of the methods that I use to build up my critical thinking area is to identify thinking fallacies specific to certain problems in a given key result area of my life, and then I take it apart, unravel it, so to speak, and put it back together in a manner that I am thinking critically and clearly, and that my thinking around my problem situation is totally free from thinking fallacies. This is what I do. Okay, and apart from that, I also have a clear understanding that we apply critical thinking in situations where we need to solve problems. The key word here is solve problem. Okay, we need to be able to think critically to solve problems. Now, I am going to use the example again in the key result area of physical health, specifically ideal weight and health and fitness, to talk about this one aspect of critical thinking that was really useful for me and has broad applicability in different areas of key results in life. Okay, so I am going to talk about finding the real cause of the problem. This is where most of us struggle, and we end up arriving at a dead end situation where we surrender or succumb to the notion that our problem is caused by a factor that is beyond our control. In other words, there's nothing we can do about this problem, therefore that's it, I'm stuck. I've been dealt a really bad deal in this situation, so I'm stuck, it's beyond me. This leads to limiting beliefs, disempowering beliefs, which are of course false. Remember, in an earlier video, I had mentioned that limiting beliefs or disempowering beliefs are actually thinking fallacies. So you apply critical thinking to a problem situation until you gain all the knowledge that you need to identify the real cause of the problem, the actual cause of the problem. Now, what do I mean by an actual cause of the problem? Let me now explain using the example of our excess body weight or our obesity. Okay, I was once obese. Again, there is a difference between being overweight and being obese. I was once obese. We'll get into that in another video. Okay, so just understand that obese is much worse than fat. Okay, right. So I was once obese. It was a problem, and I thought, or rather I had a thinking fallacy, as a result of which I developed a limiting belief, and I thought that I was fat and eventually became obese after childbirth because of my genes. This is disempowering. Why? Because if I just surrender to that notion that I am fat and on my way to becoming morbidly obese, I am not able to do anything about it, right? So does this mean that our genes have nothing to do with our propensity, our likelihood to get fat and obese? No, that's not what it means. We do have our genes that cause our body somehow, perhaps it's the biochemical pathway in our body, perhaps it is our rate of metabolism. At this stage, let's not try to put a finger on that. But yes, a research has shown that children, biological children of parents who are fat and obese grow up into fat and obese adults. Okay, so there's definitely the gene there behind the scenes. But is it the real cause? No. Why do I say this is not the real cause? Now, there's a difference between correlation and real cause. Okay? In fact, there's a difference between correlation and cause, and then there's a difference between cause and real cause. Let me explain what I mean by that. Okay? So, when we say correlation, what it simply means is these two incidents occur together. There might be some link or there might not be. Okay, so clearly in the case of fat parents giving birth to fat children or children who have the propensity to become fat at a later stage in their life when they grow into adults. So that's a link there, could possibly even be a cause, right? But is it the real cause? Why do I say it's not a real cause? What do I mean by real cause? Now, I learned this concept in a book by Dr. Jason Fung. The title of the book is The Obesity Code. The real cause is the cause that we can act upon. Yeah, it's an actionable cause. That's the first thing. And it is also a cause that is immediately responsible for our problem situation, not a cause that is distantly, or even if the distance between the cause and the outcome is quite close, no, but it is the real cause, it is the immediate cause. So I call this the real cause, okay, because it's easier for me to remember. So it's the real cause. So the real cause is something that's immediately causing the problem, and it is also a cause that you can act upon, which means that you can be responsible for your problem situation and you can do something about it. You can accept it as a problem, you can take responsibility, you can do something about it, you can change, and you can solve the problem, right? So this is one small part of critical thinking. So let's go a little further into this. So it has been found through research that all people who become fat or obese in their adult life, as I did, have a hormonal imbalance. Multiple hormonal imbalances, but the main one, which is the real cause, which is the one that we can act upon, is a high level of insulin in the blood. Right? That is the real cause. Now, through applying critical thinking that we have identified the real cause, now we can do something about it. Okay, what can we do to lower the level of insulin in our blood? No, you don't have to take medication to lower the level of insulin. Please don't go there. There are easier methods. When I started this, I was already at the helm of developing type 2 diabetes mellitus. Okay, and I could still stay off medication and do something about it. But if you have been on diabetes medication for a long time and you're obese, please do consult your doctor. But that said, please do have a serious discussion with your doctor, asking if there's something you can do by changing your lifestyle and your diet so that you can eventually bring or lower the amount of medication that you're taking every day. Okay? Now, how do you lower your insulin level in your blood? Simple. You just need to fast. You need to avoid, when I say fast, intermittent fasting, I've already done a video about that just last week, I believe. Yeah. So you just have to fast, intermittent fasting, fast at least for 16 hours more if you can, and if your condition of obesity or overweight or your condition of being overweight is more severe, you can even fast for 20 hours and eat only within a limited window of between 4 hours to a maximum of 8 hours. That's fasting. And within that fasting window, avoid carbohydrates that are high in glycemic index and have a high glycemic load. What is high glycemic index, high glycemic load? I have also explained that in a previous video. I think Eating Right, the title of the video is Eating Right. Okay, so go take a look at that video. Apply critical thinking to not only this problem situation. In this case, we're talking about this problem situation. In future, we will talk about other problem situations in other key results areas of life that involves identifying the real cause of the problem, taking the problem in a stride and actioning upon it and resolving the problem. So I hope this video has been useful. See you again soon.